sounds like if they're still in kind of poor morale, they would just go with what they've always been doing. Just go into that creature of habit mode as we often do.
It's good versus Bounty Hunter, but I think the Winter Wyvern is good versus Storm Spirit. A lot of physical damage from Dazzle, as well as preventing a Zerg down on this charge target, especially with Anti-Mage. Like, Anti-Mage doesn't even need a Glimmer Cape plus Golden Embrace combo because they already have Spell Shield. So it's decent, but I already think they have a pretty good lineup to play against it. I would like it, though. I think that it's more the style that they need. Just disrupt EG early and pressure the Anti-Mage. And the Quap, of course.
I mean, teamfights is one thing where when you get to the mid-late game where they start structuring it and they can keep protecting their anti-mage, but when you look at the laning stage, Wyvern can't be everywhere at once. Mm-hmm. And PBD has generally been really good at playing his Wyvern in lane, but most likely AM will actually need the help. That's the thing. Like, it's difficult for Wyvern to constantly move around. Let's say you play Dazzle Shaker off lane, actually. That could be totally doable here for Team Empire, and then just roam the Spirit Breaker, safe lane Storm, mid lane the Shadow Fiend. Then PBD kind of needs to stay in that top lane and protect Fear. So if they get that idea and put that lane setup, I would actually like their strat. This is a very similar idea, albeit with a different pick. So I'm also on board with this. I'm also very biased toward Night Stalker. I really like the hero. So I'm very happy we see this. Crippling Fear against Anti-Mage and Quap is great. He's a tanky hero in the mid lane, in the mid game rather, really able to run down heroes and take the fight to them. The downside is Night Stalker has really good night vision, and when you track a target, you get their vision.
Oh, yeah.
So if he goes for an Aghanim Scepter, Bounty Hunter is an innate counter hero. You just track the Night Stalker and you see everything. So it's a gimmicky play, kind of, but it could
still
play.
Something to definitely watch out for and take into account. Then EG, so what are they missing? I mean, only 15 seconds left, and this seems to be happening to EG quite a bit.
I think they lack a little bit of protection for Anti-Mage. I think that Anti-Mage Wyvern is just very, very weak. I mean, I guess they're out of support picks at the present moment, but...
Can they not put Bounty Hunter on the...
Oh, okay, they aren't.
Oh, they're actually going to go for it.
I was not expecting that, but I would say credit somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you did bring up the Enigma, you brought it on the board. We'll definitely give it to you.
And it's actually jungling. I thought this was going to go off lane, and that they would then put the dual support of Bounty Hunter and Wyvern to roam/protect.
So how much does this change things, Ben? The Enigma coming into play and jungling for EG?
It doesn't, like, they don't have that many killers with Bounty Hunter, right? It's Winter Wyvern's a defensive hero, Anti-Mage is a farmer, and Enigma is also a farmer. So in that sort of sense, it doesn't work out too well. I think the Bounty Hunter has to do a good job of providing vision, and if Empire gets a gem really early, then everything could fall apart for Evil Geniuses. So I think they're on the slippery slope where, as usual, they want to dodge fights and outlate game their opponent, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult with Storm Spirit's jump, with Earthshaker's lockdown, and with the extra vision from Night Stalker. I think they watched the eHome game, and they were like, wow, this Luna night vision, it's a big deal. It's hard to see from a casting perspective just because you're
used to seeing
everything, right? But when if you have it on one side's perspective the whole time, the whole map is dark, and it's scary, and you have to play way differently.
Yeah, very good point. And, of course, Game 1 about to start between these two teams. Do you think that Enigma pick was affected by the Night Stalker coming out?
Yes and no, because I think the alternative heroes that Empire might have considered could have triggered the same reaction. I think the most important thing for EG for going for this pick is that they see that Empire don't have really good roaming support duo early to put so much pressure that they can't afford to run an Enigma jungle. One of them is a defensive support in the Dazzle, and they knew that one was there. The Night Stalker doesn't do that much generally until the first night, so at least you have 4 minutes that are pretty free for the Enigma. Maybe he can get up a level 5 and start making some counterplays.
And they have a Bounty Hunter to worry about.
And they have Bounty Hunter.
They can't concentrate on Enigma and play defensively against Bounty Hunter at the same time.
But all in all, I think this is a really solid draft from Empire. I actually think their draft fares well against EG. So if this was going right into the tournament, if we had just started now, I would favor Empire. But I'm still skeptical because they haven't been providing the results. But at the very least, they've given themselves a really good foundation to try to get the first game on.
Mm-hmm. Shiva and Ben, I mean, what about you guys? You guys are both not into that prediction.
I think they're very confident in what they picked. It's very to their own style, and at the same time, they managed to, in my opinion, have a bit more of a solid draft than EG. EG definitely a solid draft as well, but I think they don't play with it as much, and I think EG is just very close to home, and at the same time, just working to their strengths and able to. I think they should be able to, in the early game, outlane EG. And therefore build up on that, end up the game in a win.
Yeah, I like Empire's draft. It fits more their style, and I think EG's is super greedy, not even just a little bit greedy, with the Enigma and the Anti-Mage. And I think if they can somehow punish their offlane with like a Dazzle plus NS, I think they can take a game off.
And generally, playing super greedy against Night Stalker Storm is not good. So, if there's a team that can pull it off, though, it would be EG, though, who tend to be very, very good at, like you said, dodging fights and trying to just delay the game. But even then, if it just turns into a raw farming game, let's say everyone just farms really well, you have an AM and Quab as the two main cores on EG against Storm, Shadow Fiend. But the wild card is the Night Stalker support, who in a farming game can actually get quite a lot of items and become a physical carry himself. And then, I guess, on that account, shouldn't disregard Enigma as well as a potential core. But with the slower jungle farming, the jungle just generally gives less. I think Enigma, if you look at if it's just a farm game, I think Enigma farms like 15 to 20% slower, actually. It's really surprising how big a deal it is. But let's say the creeps in the jungle give 10% less, then your entire ramp up is 10% slower. And that means in turn that your later items, like when you usually build up, just everything gets delayed more and more because you're further behind your usual item build. So we'll see.
All right, we will see as we go into Game 1 between Empire and EG. Meanwhile, our other game, eHome versus MVP Hot 6 on Stream 2 has just started, so if that's one you're interested in, head on over. For now, Game 1 between Empire and EG.
And thank you so much to the beautiful panel. We don't know a word of what they said, but I'm sure it was full of excellent analysis. You guys got Capitalist and Blitz casting this Empire versus EG 2-game series.
So if you want to switch now that you've heard that Cap's casting this game.
What? Get out of here. All right, you're actually the worst. I hate you.
LD and Gods are over on stream number 2. So if you want to just hop over.
You can just leave. You can go ahead and go back to BTS. It's fine.
Man, that was not what hyped people up. You should not have put your name first.
Oh, wow.
You should just try to convince people that it's not you.
What?
There's like Blitz and I. So there's some confusion.
So I should try and fake an Australian accent? Is that what you were saying?
No, dude. You don't even have to. Come on, man.
Anyway, it's EG versus Empire. This should be a pretty hype series. Just hoping that Empire able to step up their game a little bit, because so far their group stage performance has been a bit disappointing. Sort of the annual Empire flop.
Don't say that. That sounds harsh. It's more like, I mean, I've been trying to theorize what it is. They're picking the heroes that they were really successful with. For people that don't know, this is their last 3 LAN results as I know it. They got second at the what is that thing called? The Mars TV Land of Secret.
Yeah.
They got first at D2CL. They got first at MLG. And the first over at MLG was over EG. And the first at D2CL was over Vici. So it's not even like the competition was bad or anything like that. And they stomped, too.
Yep. They looked super, super good. But it's just, kind of every single year, the organization, the team that is Empire, just always seems to fall a little flat when it comes to TI. But I have my faith for this year. I'm sure they're going to make the comeback. Starting things off here, we've got Yoki offlaner Shirkir facing up against a Fear Animage and a PPD Winter Wyvern. Mid, Resolution playing the SF, Sumail on the Queen of Pain. And then we've got the offlane Universe, which... Offlane Bounty Hunter, played by Universe. You talked about it a little bit in the draft. You're not really a fan of the Bounty Hunter, but at the same time, the Bounty Hunter isn't very likely to be punished as a solo offlaner here.
Yeah, and I think you want AUI to play a slightly greedier hero or one that has better big play potential. Like, there's no Rubik on the other team from Aloha Dance or anything like that, so the hero should be pretty strong. And you needed a mech carrier, more importantly. Like, if you look at Empire's lineup, they have a lot of burst, but they don't actually have follow-up sustain. Like, Storm is one of those heroes that will use all of his mana early and then struggle to put out more damage. So it's really important that you have the mech to back you up, because then you have the turnaround potential.
Oh, there it is.
That's
Sumail.
brutal.
He picks up the early kill on Resolution. Standing things up, man. Now he jumps up to level 4 already by 2 minutes. Resolution's already down and out by the 2-minute mark.
Did we catch that?
SF, he managed to make the comeback.
Because we didn't see that coming. That's the second Sumail solo kill in as many games. He solo killed CTY, so Resolution and CTY both top tier mid players. And
Sumail just knows how to put out the pressure early.
Yeah, and I'm just surprised because usually at this level you don't see very many solo kills happen. So don't blame Cap or Scriff for missing that.
I caught it on my camera.
Did you? I just really didn't expect that to happen. Like, I thought if anything, a kill was going to happen, it'd be here at this top lane. But Sumail, I mean, he's been playing so well this entire tournament. He might even go for another one right now. Resolution's dipping real low.
Yeah, Sumail, last couple of right clicks there, sends the illusions after the SF as well. Of course, now the SF is always a hero that can make the comeback from a bad lane thanks to his incredible farming potential, especially on the Radiant side, but dying so early is maybe just a bit too much. He's going to pass off a health potion and try and do a little bit of bottle crowing very early on. Yoki's not doing too bad as our offlane Earthshaker. He's actually managed to pick up level 3. Earthshakers, generally speaking, is just an offlaner that you can't really do that much in order to ensure that you get experience if they control the lane really well. But then again, he's only facing up against a Winter Wyvern. AUI is spending, obviously, all of his time jungling as the Enigma, and he's actually doing really well. He's about to pick up level 5 before the 4-minute marker. So,
yeah, and the Earthshaker is rotated in mid now. I think he's hoping that Sumail overextends or is hard committed, because the Shadow Fiend plus Earthshaker combo is pretty iconic. It's really strong. You get both the offense and defense potential, but it does mean that Yoki's sitting on top of here. He really wants Sumail to jump, but Sumail, I think, is waiting for, at minimum, his ultimate to be up, and he's waiting for his bottle, so he's going to be a little bit disappointed with how this goes. And AUI is already rotating for the rune, but the Earthshaker should be there in position. Grabs a haste, but this shouldn't lead to anything. And
yeah, not much he can really do with that, especially since Sumail knows that the haste is there. Meanwhile, at our bottom lane, we are doing a lot of pulling. They did manage to throw down both counter wards in order to take away the block ward from EG. And they're trying to get that Night Stalker early experience so he can actually be an effective hero. He picks up his level 3 now, so he's got the Void ready to go.
Oh,
he just doesn't have the silence.
He's going for it right now. This was so smart of him.
Wow, Yoki! We said that he was actually playing probably the best on Empire, and we're seeing exactly why. That was just an incredible heads-up play. An Earthshaker roaming around with that haste rune to actually pick off the courier, enchant totem, being exactly what he needed to be able to pick up that kill. And that takes away the bottle.
Yeah, he pre-prepped the enchant totem because he saw that Sumail was bottle crowing in vision, and then he just waits. And he times it perfectly so it refreshes. He gets both hits off on it, and this is actually going to help Resolution out so much. And Sumail, who was dominating previously, is just going to get slowed down because Shadow Fiend, like you said, he's just going to farm out this jungle. And that first death bothers you a lot, but more that it helps the Queen of Pain than it hurts the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah. As you can see, Resolution's already going to be jumping up and catching up with Sumail when it comes to experience. And the Dazzle actually came down and over to be able to help stack up that hard camp a little bit because they don't really need to help out Silent. He would much prefer to have the solo levels, and it's a bounty hunter after all. I mean, once they manage to kind of keep him pushed back and keep Universe scared of moving too far forward and trying to harass the Storm Spirit down, they've kind of already won the lane for Storm. Especially since he probably won't feel so much harassment, and then we'll pick up his level 6, and then he just doesn't care.
Yeah, and the Storm's doing a good job right now of keeping up in CS. He actually has much more than the Anti-Mage does, which is a little surprising, but it is a bit harder to CS with AM since you don't have the flash arm mechanic that Storm Spirit does, but...
Oh, Yoki, they're actually going to pop the black hole for him. Sumail makes the blink over. Perfect use of the black hole in this sort of situation. You're not going to get a better opportunity. Like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, AUI actually plays one of the more formulaic Enigmas. Like when he hits level 6, he almost instantly pops his ultimate every single time. Like,
right.
He's not the type of player that waits to use it. It's like, I think in his mind, it's if the black hole is up, especially in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game, why not just use it to get a secured kill?
Right. Universe is going to soak some